Hi. Well, it's heading for Christmas, so let's put our sparkly tops on and make some Christmas decorations. So I'm going to show you 3 different ways of making some very simple but effective Christmas decorations. You can make them using little bags, sweetie bags, or if you haven't got any bags, you can make them using pieces of paper, coloured paper or just plain white paper. Or if you haven't got any paper, you can rip out pages out of old books, not new books. So, and we're going to make some little decorations and some large ones. We're going to do some Christmas stars, some Christmas snowflakes, and some little mini baubles. So let's get on with it. So the first thing we're going to do is using the bags. So they're just ordinary little bags that you can pick up from, I think it costs a couple of pounds for a few hundred. So very, very cheap. Got these off Amazon. They can be here within a day. Little sweetie bags. So you need quite a few to make this. So we're going to make a big Christmas bauble. So first of all, what we need to do is divide the bags into piles of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a pile of 6. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to stick them together. So you get your glue and you run one along the bottom, and we're doing it along the bottom because that's where the ones are going to attach together. We don't do it along the top bit here because it's raggy, and we're going to cut that off. So you get one and then you stick another one on top. Try and match them as closely as you can. It would help if I had my glasses, not sure where I put them. And then, so a line of glue along the bottom, a line up the middle, making a T, an inverted T. Stick another one on, like this. A line of glue along the bottom, a line up. Have another little baggie. The reason we're using bags is because they're attached at the side, and this means that the decoration will open out nicely once we've attached it all together. If you just had 2 pieces of paper attached to each other, then that'd be no good at all. So what we're going to do with the paper is fold it as if it was a bag, but a bag with no bottom half. Right, and so one more. So a line across the bottom, line in the middle. Stick it on there, try and match the edges. There we go. And then, she says, there's an extra one. Let's put that one on. So matched at the bottom, matched at the side, attach them all together, and then you end up with a join that concertinas out. So you can see where we're going with this now. That's a portion of a Christmas decoration. So we're going to have them coming all round the sides. So what we want to do is attach them together. We don't attach them side to side. If we do that, we just end up with lots of little bags. So we don't want them attached side to side. We don't want to attach them just at the bottom, because then you end up with a load of bags like that. We want to attach them in an inverted T shape so that they open out like that. And then we're going to attach them all together. But we're doing them in 6s. We're not doing them going all the way round because we want to actually cut them to shape first of all. So the only way to do that is to do them a bit at a time, because if you start putting lots together like here, you end up with too thick a piece. So here you can see we've got half, or we've got a whole decoration, but it's not been cut. So to cut that would be really difficult. To cut that, we would end up really hurting our thumbs. So what can do, so look at this. Oh, that's difficult. Oh, it's difficult. That's so hard. I'm just going to do a very simple design on this one because it's really, really difficult. So this will give you an idea of what it will look like afterwards. So I'm going to do a very simple design because this is such a difficult one to cut because they've all been stuck together. So we're not sticking them all together at once. Otherwise you will end up with no thumbs. It's impossible to cut through so many layers. There's 24 layers here. Because what we're going to do is we're going to do a layer of 6, then another layer of 6, then we're going to cut out our shape using a template, like this sort of thing, and then we're going to attach those layers together, and then we're going to cut each one out as we go along. So this one is a difficult one to do. So I'm just going to make it a very, very simple design, which is like flames going upwards, that sort of thing. Ow, 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 ow. When you've got the layers at the edge, it really hurts if you try and cut through lots of layers. There we go, done it. So, get those out of the way. You've got to make sure that you leave some of the edge on either side has to be there, so that when you open it up you have something that holds it together. So now we're going to attach it. So you get your glue stick, any glue stick will do, run it up the middle and across the bottom in that T shape again. We're not doing the sides because we want it to balloon. We want it to balloon out and pull either side to give it an interesting shape. So we're going to work it all the way around, open it up, and we're going to stick it down, those two bits together, and stick them down. And then let it open naturally, a little bit stuck there. And there we have a Christmas decoration. Look how beautiful it looks. And this one, just open up all the different layers. We could even have made that with a few less bags. It didn't need that many actually. Maybe if we did 4 sets of 4 instead of 4 sets of 6, that would have worked nicely. Open it all out. And there we are. Let's look at it with the background. There, beautiful. So we can go around and adjust it. And the reason it looks like it's got layer upon layer is because we did it on a slant. So the way to get that effect is to cut at a diagonal and then you just cut little bits into it. And there we have our Christmas decoration. So, can you remember what we had to do? So the first thing we do is we get our bags and we stick them together, 6 of them, then we cut out our decoration. So while there's only 6 of them, so let's do another similar design that's on a slant because that was very effective. So I'm cutting the slant first, get another set of bags, cut the same slant on that one so we know they're going to match each other. So they're not stuck together and we've only got 6 at a time. Get another set of bags. So these are 6 stuck together. 6 stuck together with the T shape of sticky. This first bit's always the most difficult. There we go. So they're on the same slant now. Now we're going to separate them out and cut them. So we'll just do 3. It's nice and easy. And then you can put it on there and match it up. And what you can do, if you want to, is you can draw where it's going. and that way you can match it up. There you go. So you just cut that. If you cut just inside the pen, it won't show up on the final one. I haven't got my glasses on. I've left them somewhere in the room. Not sure where. So I'm doing this without glasses. I can see great long distance. Can't see anything at all close up. Right, does that match? Pretty well, yes, look at that. Right, go back to the original one. Get the pen. Okay. Cut them out inside the lines. Get rid of those, that marker pen. I'm using a very thin pen so it doesn't go through. Oh, that's hard to cut. But not as hard as 24. Okay, so there we have 3 sets. Now we're going to stick them all together like this. So we get them all matching each other. Then move everything out of the way, get all the bits off it. This is a little cutting board, so if you find that it's not possible to cut it with scissors, if you've got a cutting board you can use a scalpel instead, or don't make them too thick. Right, so the first one, T-shape, up the middle, across the bottom. Stick one on. Try and match them up as much as possible. That's not quite matched. There, that's better. T-shape. It's an inverted T. Stick them together. Then another one, one last one, to attach them all. You might have to wait for it to dry a bit first of all. Here we go. So I'm literally just pressing to make sure they're all stuck together. Pressing the bottom of it as well. Just get your hand inside like a little glove. And there we have it. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? So that's how you make a very simple Christmas decoration. And then you can hang this up. Look at that, you can make it as a like a wreath on a door, or you could have it on top of a Christmas tree. You could have it as a star. You could use it as a, and if you want to make fancy ones, then you can maybe cut out different designs. So that's the first one. The second one, I'm using coloured paper. And because sometimes you don't have any bags. Sometimes you don't have any bags. So what we're going to do is, and this paper, it's this stuff. It's just pastel tints. Got it from the post office. And you can get it in a few different colours. There's green, yellow, blue here. I've used up all the green now. I'm using that one. And there's also pink as well, but I've used the pink too because I liked it. So I'm going to do something slightly fancier this time. So what we need is those edges. We haven't got any edges. So all I'm going to do is fold the paper. So you fold it like that, and then you fold it in again, and you want to get a line along the middle. So it's going to be like that shape. And then I'm going to get my glue. And I'm going to seal it like an envelope along the middle. There we go. We've got a folded piece of paper, which is just as good as a bag. We don't need to stick the bottom because we're going to stick them all together. So what you do with that is you make some stacks of these. You make some different ones of them. So I've made several of these here. You make as many as you need. Do you want something big and fancy that's got lots and lots of layers to it, or something else? So what you do next is you cut out a template and you think, right, I'm going to attach this, but first you have to attach them all together. I think the best way to attach them when you do the T-shape is run it along that line so it hides it. So you're putting one on top of another. So you're going to run them together and then you attach the others on top like this. Then what we're going to do is you cut out a template. You get one piece, you get the same size as that, and it has to go to the edges, because there always has to be some edge from the original folded part where you can open it out. If you cut the edges off, it won't work. So it has to go right to the edges, and then you get your thin pen that won't go through. I'm putting a little heart in here, look. So, and then you just draw around your template. Can't see without my glasses. I really can't see at all. Can't tell where it is. I think it's there. I'm not doing the star in the middle, because to do that I would have to cut with a scalpel all the way through. You can do fancy, but for today I won't. I'm just going to use my scissors. Now this is going to be quite painful because this paper is even thicker than the bags. And there's 6 of them, and I think I added an extra one. So I've got 7 on this layer now, which is rather a lot to get through. Oh. If you do end up with any of the pen showing, then use that one to attach to the next batch and it will cover it up. You won't be able to see it if you use that one to glue. Okay, so cutting out very crudely. You can spend more time doing this and you can make more elaborate patterns if you like. But if it's really thick, I find it's easier to go in at an angle. So I'm going in, instead of turning it and curving it, I'm just going to try and do it as straight as possible because it's easier. You can cut each piece out as you make it before you stick them all together. Might be a better way of doing it. But I've done it this way, where I'm now suffering my knuckles, this bit here. So maybe use thinner paper, maybe use smaller amounts attached together, ways of stopping it hurting your hand, or maybe use a craft knife, or maybe cut out 2 or 3 at once instead of 6, which might be a bit adventurous. I mean, I'm doing this fast for the sake of making this video, but you can just spend the day doing it. Last time I made these, I ended up making about 20. There were so many of them, I got a bit carried away. Okay, so there's a batch of 6. Some that I made earlier here. So let's attach them together. Chuck those over there. Let's see. Sometimes you don't need that many. It might only need 12. So 2 sets of 6. I think I've attached 2 together there already. There we go. So stick it down, and then we're going to do the last one that attaches it right the way round. So I'm going to put a lot of sticky on this. Okay, open it up. Oh, look at that. I love this stage. Look at that. I think I might have used more than I actually need. Wow, how fantastic is that? That's amazing. I'm loving that. I didn't know what it was going to look like. How beautiful is that? Gorgeous. Okay, I think we don't need quite as many. I think it would look fantastic if it had half the amount. So let's open them out a bit. Beautiful. Really gorgeous. Wow. I love it. So you could hang that up. You could put a string through the middle of it. You could make a hole in it. You could put something in the middle there. You could make a little flower or something to go in the middle of it. How beautiful. So there we go. That is how to make paper decorations. Now, for the third one, you're going to use some old book pages. Old book pages. And like these. And what we have to do, again, we have to make them into things with edges. So, trim them down. We need to fold them in again. So we fold them in, and then we glue along the edge, way, like that. And then we have our fold. So, and you make some little batches of them. And then we're going to attach them all together in the same way. But first, we need to cut out each one. Now, I'm going to make it very simple, this design. So where's the bottom? That's the bottom there. Yeah. So, very simple, a point. And the reason I'm doing this is because my hands hurt. Because I've been doing this all day and I did it too thick. So I've got the first one. Now I'm going to use my pen. I have such a messy work environment. Pen. And mark it off. Do the same on each one. Now, I need to check that I did it the right way up. Yes, I did. That's good. Check. No, I didn't, that one. So it's that way around, so not that one. Need to make sure that the bit that's stuck together at the bottom stays at the bottom. Otherwise, I might have problems opening it out. And this one, there's the bottom there. So, old book pages. We've folded them in. It's a very long, thin one, this one, but that's okay. So we're just cutting a point on them to save my knuckles. And if you start doing anything too fancy, then it can separate them out and cause a few problems. So you need simple patterns. But the more you make, the easier you'll find it. And you can start experimenting then. You can use clippers. You can use hole punches. You can use, if you've got any journaling toys, any clippers of any kind that will cut corners and circular bits out of them, then that would be very handy. But I'm just doing very, very simple. Last one. There it is. Very simple. I mean, if you wanted to, you could start cutting out a bit. Just cut a little bit in the middle, make a little hole, just to add a bit of interest. You could add lots of holes. It's up to you. Just going to put one in each of them now. So this will show you what happens if you put a bit of decoration in. You end up like this one with the hearts there. And I did half a heart. So I'm just putting a little hole, same place each side, each one. I'm not actually checking if it's the same place. I'm guessing it's around the same place. So it might not be even. There we go. Right, and check it. Clear the decks. Right, so I'm going to have the hole on that side. So let's get them all ready. There they are. Same again, up the middle, across the bottom. Attach another one. Look at that, it matches. Amazing. Across the bottom, up the middle. Across the bottom, up the middle. I'm fingers crossing that this will actually work because they're very, very thin, these pages. And next time I would use a bigger book. This is getting quite a chunk, so I think I might stop there and try see what it will look like. Oh no, there's room for another one. They're not opening out as widely as, say, the green paper because, one, they haven't got as many holes in them, and two, they're very thin. Oh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Right, so let's attach them all together. Let's open them out as we go along. Oh no, might have to wait for these to dry a bit. They're quite stiff, aren't they? Oh no. Well, I'm going to wait for this one to dry and then do it after it's dried because it's too wet. At the moment it needs a bit of force. Okay, so stick that back together. Let's give that 10 minutes. Okay. In the meantime, let's make a little extra one. One of these. So what we're doing here, you need something to tie it with. I've just got some of this leftover parcel tape and not tape, parcel tie. Okay, some leftover pages, and what we're going to do is we're going to make a little ornament for the tree or to attach to someone's present. So backwards and forwards, so one way, turn it over, another way, folding each time, turn it over, turn it over, and you just keep going. There you go. So, got that. Then, we're going to find the middle. There's the middle. We're going to snip each end. And again, you can add your own decoration if you want to. If you've got some hole punches or something, that would be great on there. You can make it all sparkly, like a snowflake. I'm going to tie this around the middle. So you could use these, you could attach these to presents, you could attach these to your tree, you could have them hanging off things in your room, all sorts. You could put them on a Secret Santa or on a bag. You could just jazz up a present a little bit. There we go, so tied it in the middle. Doesn't seem to want to tie. I'm going to make it tie. Right, pull that to the edge. Then we find that middle again. It's easier once we've bent it. There we go. Then we're going to glue it together. There we go. Pull out the strings. Then we're going to glue the other sides together. Oh my goodness, look at that. Sticky business. Oh. Maybe I should have just used twine. There we go, got it. Right, stick it together. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Puff it up a little bit. Mend any bits that need mending. And there we have it. You can open that up a bit more when it's dry. There we go. It's a little decoration. So it goes one in, one out. That bit needs to be stuck. That bit comes out. And you can just open it all out as you go along. And there we have a pretty little decoration. Okay, so here we are finished. So this is the book one. Now that it's dried, there we go. I could turn it, stick it together. There we go. So you can hang them up and have them as a wreath on the door or on the Christmas tree, or you can just put them in the room. So I love the way this does this. Look at that. Look at that. It just opens out. Whee! There we go. You can put a bit of glue on the back of it, or just attach a pin to the back of it to keep it still if you want it to stop doing that. So then we've got the one that goes, we've got two of these actually. This is when you do them on a slant. You do them on a slant and you get that inner section as well, which is great because it makes them look sort of more 3D. They're coming out at you. So two snowflakey stars here. That one's a bit creased. Let's get that sorted. There we go. There we go. So two of those. And then we've got the green ones. So coloured paper. They're stiffer. More hard wearing, these ones. And then I love this one. Absolutely love it. Look at this. Wow. Look at that. It's an amazing one. So you can have it either way around. So that's great. And then we've got the little babies. Little baby ones that you can attach to presents, and you could maybe write messages on them. You could maybe do a little picture and turn your picture into one. All sorts of ways of using them. So that's how you make Christmas decorations, stars and snowflakes out of old books, sweetie bags, or bits of paper. So there you go.